Hi SILEM stars, you're welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, then you're welcome to my channel. My name is SILEM. In today's video guys, I'm going to show you how to draft, cut and sew this beautiful cowl draped bubu dress you can see me putting on. So without further ado, let's get right into the video.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there.
So this cowl draped bubu dress actually takes a lot of fabric, okay? So you need to use 4 to 5 yards or even 6 yards depending on how much slash and spread you want to apply to your pattern paper. Also, it also depends on how big you are. Okay, so for me, I'm using 4 yards because I don't want to slash my pieces too much, and 4 yards is what I have available. So this is my pattern paper. I joined 2 pattern papers together so that I can get the length that I want. The length that I want for my dress is 58 inches. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do now is I'm just going to mark the baseline at the top here. Then after marking the baseline, I'm going to mark the length that I want my piece to be. Like I said, I want it to be 58 inches, so I'm just going to mark that 58 inches here. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to mark my neck depth. Now what I'm drafting now is both for the front and the back. Okay, I want my piece to be the same in front and at the back. If you want yours to be different in front and the back, it means you have to draft 2 pattern papers. Okay, so from the baseline here, I want my neck depth to be 6 inches. Then the width of my neckline, I'm going to use 3.5 inches. And I want this to be a V neckline. So I'm just going to connect these 2 points together. If you want your neck to be deeper, you can obviously make your neck depth deeper. If you want the back neckline to be a round neck, you can also do that as well. Okay, now I'm going to mark my shoulder. My shoulder divided by 2 is 7 inches. So I'm just going to mark 7 inches right here. This is the 7-inch mark. Now, normally you have your armhole coming down like this. Okay, normally you do your armhole like this, but because this is a cowl neckline, we're going to impute the armhole along this baseline. Okay, so my normal armhole depth is 8 inches, and that's what I'm going to impute here. If you're making yours sleeveless, then you have to maybe remove 1 inch from that to make it 7 inches. From this shoulder point here, I'm going to mark the armhole depth or the chest line. I'm going to mark it, and for me, like I said, that is 8 inches, so I'm going to mark 8 inches there. So this is the 8-inch mark here. Now in order to create the armhole curve, I'm going to get the midpoint of this that I have here. So I'm just going to measure the midpoint. This is 8 inches, so the midpoint of that is 4 inches. So I'll mark 4 inches, and then at that 4-inch mark, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. Okay, so just come down by 1 inch there, and then draw your curve to connect all 3 points. So this is my armhole curve, can you see? So from the length that I have here, I'm going to come up by 17 inches. Then I'm just going to mark that. So just come up from your hem line by 17 inches. And then just draw a straight line. Now on this line here, let's just call it our knee line. On this knee line here, we're going to divide the hip measurements by 4, and then we're going to add 4 inches allowance. So once I've marked that, I'm going to measure what I have from here to here. Okay, and what I have is about 13.75. So I'm going to mark that same thing at the bottom here. And then I'm going to connect both points together with a straight line. Now the next thing you want to do is you want to just use your free hand to connect these 2 points together. Okay. Alright. So now we can now cut it out before we do our slash and spread. As it is now, if you cut it like this and transfer to your fabric and sew, you would actually have that cowl draped dress. You actually have your cowl looking nicely. It's going to drape nicely. But the slash and spread, what it does is that it helps you to direct your draping the way you want it. So if you want your draping to start from the neckline and go down like this, using the slash and spread, you can get that draping. Okay, if you want your draping to start from the waistline down, using the slash and spread, you can direct it. But this way, once you put your hand here, the fabric will just fall by itself and drape the way it wants. Okay, so if you want that look, you can go ahead and just transfer this to your fabric and sew. But for me, I'm going to be doing the slash and spread. So this is what we have. Remember, this is your neckline, this is your armhole. So I'm just going to label it so we don't get confused. This is the neck, and this is the armhole. Okay, this is here is the shoulder. So I'm just going to label it, otherwise you could get confused. Then here is the center front slash center back. Okay, so now as you can see, I made this a bit wider because I want my cowl to be very full. But like I said, if you don't want it to be too full, you can go in a bit. Okay, so now let's do our slash and spread. Now for the slash and spread, like I said, it depends on how you want the pleats or the drapings to fall. So now I want mine to start from this neckline and then drop like this, just go down. If you want yours to start from the waistline, you can mark your waistline and then draw your slash lines from the waistline. So it depends on you. Also, if you want your front pattern to have a different draping from the back, you can also do it differently. Means you're going to cut two patterns. For the front pattern, you mark your slash lines how you want it, and for the back you mark a different pattern for your slash lines. So it depends on what you want. But for me, I want to use this pattern for both front and back, and I want my draping to be the same in front and at the back. Okay, so from this shoulder, I'm just going to mark my neck depth, which is 6 inches. Okay, so that is where I want my draping to start. I want my slash lines to be slanted. I don't want it to be straight. I want it to be slanted. So from here like this, now I'm going to mark 24 inches. So this is the 24-inch mark here. Okay, so that is where my first line is going to be, and I'm going to have other lines that will follow it as well. So this is my first slash line. Now I'm going to mark 2 inches intervals. Okay, so my slash lines will be 2 inches from each other. Okay, now depending on how much fabric you have, that will determine how much slash lines you're going to have. Like I said, I have just 4 yards of fabric. Okay, so if you have about 6 yards of fabric, you can actually do a lot of slash lines. And for me, I'm just going to have about 4 slash lines because I don't have a lot of fabric to work with. So as you can see, this is the first one, second one, third one, fourth one. Like I said, you can keep slashing if you have more fabric. So now I'm going to go ahead and slash. Now when you're slashing, you don't want to cut the pieces totally out. You want to just cut and then stop very close to the edge of the paper. Okay, so this is what we have. So as you can see, I did not cut the pieces out totally. They are still attached there. Okay, but as you can see now, I can now spread my piece as wide as I want. Now depending on how much fabric you have, it will determine how wide you will spread, the pieces. Okay, so this now is 1.5 inch. You can decide to spread by 1.5 inches. You can decide to spread with 2 inches, 3 inches, depending on how full you want your piece to be. So this is the fabric that I'm using. It is a Duchess satin fabric, but it is metallic. It has this metallic sheen to it, and I'm using 4 yards, like I said. So because of my limited fabric, I'm going to be spreading with 1.5 inches. Like I said, if you want yours to be very, very full, you want a lot of volume, you want your draping to be very pronounced, use 6 yards of fabric and spread by 4 inches. You can also add more slash lines if you want your draping to go down even more. Okay, so we're going to add ½ inch allowance all around. Now that I've spread my piece the way I want, I'm just going to use my chalk now just to mark the outline here. Okay, don't also forget to add allowance on this side as well. Also, remember that I folded my fabric into 4, okay? So it means that I've cut 2 pieces for my front and 2 pieces for my back, okay? So I'm just going to take out my pattern. So don't forget, this is your neckline, this is your shoulder, this is your armhole line, okay? It could get confusing, but you could mark it so you know this is the neckline, this is the armhole line, okay? So you can mark the neckline and the armhole line so that you know where it is. So now I'm going to separate the 2 front pieces from the 2 back pieces. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to join the 2 front pieces from this point here, which is the neckline. From here, I'm going to join it all the way to the hem. For the back piece as well, you're going to join from this point here, which is the bottom part of the neckline. I'm going to join from here all the way to the bottom. So you're basically joining the center front and the center back. So this is the front piece. I've gone ahead to join the center front, but I stopped 17 inches from the hem because I'm going to put a slit right here. So I didn't sew it all the way to the end. But for the back, I sewed from the neck all the way to the hem. So the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to open this up. I'm going to place the front right sides facing like this. So first I'm going to pin the shoulders together because we're going to be joining the shoulders together. I'm going to skip the armhole. This is the armhole here. So skip the armhole and then pin this part. The same thing with this side. We're going to pin the shoulders together because we're going to join the shoulders. Skip the armhole part and pin the rest of this side together. You also need to pin the sides all the way to the hem, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to sew the shoulder. So start from here and stop here. Skip the armhole and then start sewing from this point all the way down to the hem with ½ inch seam allowance. We'll do the same thing for the other side. After that, all you have to do is just pipe the neckline, pipe the armhole as well.
And this is the finished look of this beautiful dress. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget that I have a couple of online classes that you can register for. You can leave a comment if you're interested. Thanks for watching. Bye.